This is a review of the Wharfedale Evo 4.2. Now the reason it's called the 4.2 is that the Evo 4 is a series of 6 speakers. So each speaker has a number after it, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 and so on. So the 4.2 is a rather imposing 3-way stand-mounted speaker. And when these speakers are on your stands, like I say, you really know you've got yourself a pair of speakers. They're quite large for stand-mounted speakers. You're looking at 455 by 250 by 340 millimeters, and each weighs 13.4 kilograms. So let's take a quick scan around the design itself. And up top we see an Air Motion Transformer tweeter, an AMT tweeter. This uses technology introduced in the higher end Elysian range of Wharfedale speakers. The AMT tweeter spans 55 by 80 millimeters. This design features a pleated diaphragm driven by rows of magnets which force the pleats to contract and expand to the music. The waveform is created as the air is squeezed between them. According to Wharfedale, the AMT offers far more control and accuracy than any soft-domed tweeter can, but we'll see. It's nice to see a mid-range unit in a pair of speakers. I don't see them very often and I tend to miss them. This particular one is a soft fabric dome tweeter spanning 50 millimeters. It's linked to a damped rear chamber, while the dome itself is damped by plasticizer and offers a bandwidth of 800 Hz to 5 kilohertz, backed by a high flux magnet. Way down at the bottom is a base unit using Kevlar materials spanning 150 millimeters. And that material you can see in the center of the image there is a woven aramid fiber. Now keep going downwards and there's a slot loaded port. It's easily missed, but let me give you a bit of a close-up here and you can just see the gap at the base of the chassis there. The slot loaded profiled port, or SLPP, receives the lowest frequency energy profiled, says the company, to equalize the high internal pressure to the low pressure in the room. The idea basically is to lower distortion and increase efficiency while reducing positioning issues. So there's far more freedom in terms of positioning the Evo 4.2s in your listening room. The cabinet construction is made from a sort of wood sandwich, really, and it's used to strengthen the cabinet and to decrease resonances, which can harm sound quality. These 8 ohm speakers offer a decent sensitivity rating of 90 decibels, so you'll only need an amp upwards of around 25 watts to drive them. So, what do they sound like? I began with a jazz vocal from Morgana King's 1973 Paramount LP, New Beginnings. This period piece offers a fascinating arrangement because it provides a host of backing instruments of varied textures and range. Also, during the notable chorus, it's almost as if the producer has said, "Okay guys, just make lots of noise." Hence, King hits the crescendos and never really lets go. The harmony chorus tries its best to sound like slightly exasperated angelic angels, while the backing sounds like a band interlude from The Muppet Show. It's a bit of a racket, a pleasant one, but a racket nevertheless, and hence it's a challenge to any pair of speakers. So how did the Evo 4.2s cope with all of that? Well, you really have to talk bass from the off with these speakers. There's just no getting away from that frequency here. Have you ever walked into a room of people and you can just sense an atmosphere, whether it's tension, I don't know, maybe they've just had an argument and you've walked in not long after and you can feel the anger in the air or the tension, or maybe everyone's feeling very tired and you can feel a sort of snooziness in the air. You get that feeling. Well, when you're listening to the Evo 4.2s, bass is that feeling. It's everywhere. Now, don't get me wrong, bass wasn't dominant here. With the 4.2s, it's not like you're listening to a big pair of subwoofers. these speakers didn't swamp the upper frequencies with bass. Nevertheless, even so, bass remained everywhere. It was infused in every part of the soundstage. It occupied the space like a furnished room. The wallpaper, the carpets, the soft furnishings, all bass. The lighter stuff, well, upper frequencies, and the finesse offered by these Wharfedales lay upon the bass coating the 4.2 speakers. So how did this manifest itself during actual play? Well, bass gave music a strength, but also a real confidence. As I say, bass didn't dominate to any great extreme here. It never bloomed or strayed too far from where it should be, but it acted like a sort of foundation of a house. The sonic structure was given authority by the bass. Bass enabled the music to roam and venture forth with more self-assurance than you might normally hear. It also provided a mid-range composure that prevented any form of smearing, increasing focus and increasing tonal balance. King's crescendos provided precision instead of what it normally wanted to do, and that's to blur out at the top end. Guitar strums provided detail and insight, but also great control, while bongo taps offered weight to each strike, but also air and space during minor reverbs. Moving further upscale into the treble area, cymbal hits and bell taps provided the delicacy you would hope for, with reverb tails here and there to please. But the bass focus added a sense of weight to each cymbal, providing a certainty to each cymbal tap. The low noise response was also welcome. During the cacophonous chorus sequences, what I've always thought were slightly frantic piano bashes actually turned out to be harp string plucks. Hence, the bass and treble provided true sonic bookends for a host of mid-band detail that entertained and delighted, while the bass itself acted like some sort of football coach, encouraging and influencing the rest of the music to greater heights. I then turned to a little bit of prog and Greenslade's Time and Tide on WEA from 1975. As you might expect, the bass was a major part of this track. The deep and thumping bass was the heart of this song, providing an often dead stop bass thud, which was very effective. But the Dave Greenslade keyboard sequences were significant too, offering a sweeping analog string-like tone that was rather gorgeous in its implementation, while bass guitar provided an underlying rhythm to push the music onwards. There was one little wrinkle in this sound test, one tiny fly in the ointment, because I did notice a slight bite in the mid-range, only on rare occasions. So for example, if you had a sort of aggressive vocal snap, that might produce a slight mid-range bark in response to accompany emphasis in delivery. But that sort of seemed like a byproduct of the precision that the Wharfedales gave me. It wasn't a big deal, I wasn't overly concerned by this response, and it was infrequent, but it's something to look out for during a demo. What was surprising was the mobility and emotion from the lead vocal and the lead electric guitar. Bass never dragged upon these two contrasting sounds. They were both lively and light on their feet. Again, cymbal taps provided finesse, but the bass added weight to this instrument. You got the feeling that a really big piece of metal was being hit here. So the Wharfedale Evo 4.2s give you presence. In actual physical terms, they're big speakers, but they give you presence in musical terms as well. Real bass presence. There is detail here, but there's also authority. So, as I say, bass doesn't get in the way, but it sort of underpins the music. It provides real support. It gives everything else confidence. It gives everything else a sense of well-being. So there's no hesitancy here. Music really pushes forward with great authority. And overall, I was impressed with the sound. More, actually, I was impressed with the sound and the price. I had to check the price twice, and that's something I haven't mentioned, and I'll do that now, because these speakers are £599 a pair. That's $599 a pair. For that price, the Wharfedale Evo 4.2s offer incredible value for money. Well worth a demo, well worth serious consideration. And that's me done. Thank you very much for staying to the end of the video. If you do like the video, please hit the like button and also subscribe while you're there. Well, why not? Until the next time, hopefully I'll see you then. Bye bye for now.